It's the week before the TJ's games. I hope you guys are excited, and I know there's a lot of questions out there about nutrition and what you should be doing leading up to the event. So I'm going to go through some, what I think are kind of the biggest questions that you guys have on nutrition pre-games. First question is, what should I be eating the week before the games? And I think that this is probably the simplest question to answer for you guys, because you shouldn't be eating anything different than you normally eat. If you start to try new stuff with your food the week before competition, like starting to make all these new recipes and maybe try a new amount of protein every day or something like that, you run the risk of throwing your system off. So I wouldn't change a thing, and I would maybe keep your recipes really simple, things that are like really easy for your body to digest and that you're really used to. The one thing that I would change is if you do let yourself cheat from time to time, like once or twice a week, or you're relaxed about certain things around dinner time, I would really cut down the cheat foods completely and make sure that you get really diligent about keeping strict to your program to manage your stress level for the week. Okay, the second question would be, what should I eat the day or the night before the competition? And this one, I would say the only thing that I would recommend changing a little bit is, my experience is the day before a competition or the day before I really want to be like revving high for my training, I will avoid really big portions at any one meal, in particular really big portions of protein and fat. So like the night before, I'm not going to go have a 20-ounce ribeye steak. I'll have a smaller portion of protein, a smaller portion of fat for my major meals of the day, and then I might supplement that by adding in a little bit more fruits and veggies just the day before the competition. There was also a question about getting some extra starch or some extra like potatoes before the day before a competition, and I can't say that I'm against it. But again, going back to one of the original things I said, if it's not normal to you to go and eat some extra potatoes, then I wouldn't start doing it the day before a big competition. So if you're used to having some potatoes from time to time or some starchier vegetables, yeah, you can have a little bit extra the day before competition, and it may actually help you on Sunday. But otherwise, if it's new to you, then forget it. Don't even worry about it. Stick to what you're doing. Just keep those protein fat portions a little bit smaller. Okay, next question is, on the morning of the competition, what am I supposed to eat? So to answer that question, you need to kind of think about the events that you're going to be doing kind of two different ways. Now I know we don't know the workouts yet. I don't know the workouts yet. But if you look at kind of what two events might, the differences between like two types of events, you might have a workout that's a really hard Metcon, really sweaty, moving all over the place, doing a lot of work. Or you may have, let's say, something that's more like strength-based. Find a 1-rep max. Do as many pull-ups as you can. Max double unders or something like that that's more skill and strength-based versus that hard Metcon. Okay, so if your first event of the day is the super hard Metcon, I would really encourage you guys to go into that event almost on an empty stomach. You do not want to have a bunch of food in your body, a bunch of food in your digestive system that's going to slow you down from what you're trying to accomplish, which is move fast. On the other hand, if your first event of the day is more of a strength, build up to a 1-rep max or do some skill stuff, it's totally fine to have some food, within 2 hours before you compete. I would say that as a general rule, if it's the hard Metcon, nothing closer than 2 hours to your event. And also make that meal something, again, very easy to digest. Basic proteins like chicken or something that's not very spicy, doesn't have a lot of fat in it because that slows down digestion. Nothing with a ton of fiber, so don't have like a big old thing of broccoli because that might be really, again, slow to digest. So things like, a little fruit in the morning, maybe some eggs. I always like hard-boiled eggs the morning of a competition, right? It's not got a lot of extra seasoning or anything like that. And then again, keep it small, okay? If it's the strength workout, right, you can eat that a little bit closer, maybe up until an hour beforehand. But you don't want to be thinking about what's in your stomach when you're actually doing your event. And just to give a personal, story, on days of competition where I have a really hard workout to do the first thing of the day, it might be at like 8 o'clock in the morning is my first event, I'm making sure I get like minimum 3 hours before that I have my meal. So I'll get up at 4:30 and eat some food so that at 8 o'clock I'm like feeling like I'm kind of almost on an empty stomach, and that way I'm not being held back by digestion. All right, the next question is, how do you manage to keep your energy levels high throughout the day, right? Because you have lots of workouts to do, and you're probably going to want to maintain that same idea of don't have a full stomach before you do a workout. Well, there's 4 workouts to do, let's say. When am I going to eat? Well, the key is to make sure that right after every event, you get some nutrition into your body, because that is the longest period of time before your next event that you have to eat something and let it digest and then be ready to go for the next thing. So key things to have with you. You know, a recovery drink, awesome thing to be taking right after an event. Maybe some coconut water or something that you can get in terms of like liquid carbohydrates. So, you know, maybe even some juice or some Gatorade. Those are great things to have on competition day. Having, you know, some type of protein with you that's really, again, easy to digest. So I always go back to like chicken breast, because it's just so simple, and just taking bites of that won't upset my stomach so much. So you have your own thing that won't upset your stomach. Have those things with you, and then immediately after each of your events, depending on how much you really like, you know, how much energy you use or how much time you have before your next event, might be a perfect time to get some stuff into your body. Again, don't go for big meals throughout the day. Nothing too heavy. I would stay away from high amounts of fat. So I know you guys like to snack on nuts throughout the day, and just be cautious. Don't throw back a ton of, you know, almonds or walnuts or macadamia nuts, because if you have a lot of those in your stomach, they can kind of settle and just hang out there for a long time and make you feel kind of gross later on. Another, you know, personal kind of experience that I've had is that on competition day, if you're nervous and food is like something that you use to kind of like calm your nerves, just be cautious that you're not just eating because you're nervous, which I've seen a lot of, you know, people at competitions do. They're freaking out about the next event, and they just kind of start, I don't know, next thing you know, they eat like a whole bag of almonds, and they're not feeling good for their next event. So be cautious of that. Okay, and the final thing is hydration, and how do we, you know, people worried about cramping or getting, you know, muscle fatigue later in the day, and I think that hydration plays a huge part of it. Don't wait till you're thirsty. I know you've heard it before, but be drinking water all day, all day. And yeah, when you do multiple workouts in a day, you'd be surprised at how much fluid you're going to be losing, especially since you're, you know, the adrenaline's up, and so your blood pressure is maybe high, and you're a little bit more, you know, antsy than normal, and you're actually expending energy when you're not even thinking about it, and so you're sweating off all that liquid. So make sure you're drinking a lot of liquid, and I think that's really all that you guys need to know for competition day. You also need to know that it's important to go out after the competition and really blow it out with a really good meal. I'm talking like something that really makes you feel good. And my absolute go-to meal right after competition is a big plate of barbecue ribs with like a massive amount of French fries. And I'm not talking like sweet potato fries, I'm talking like regular old potato fries, and it has to be ketchup, and there has to be lots of barbecue sauce. So if you can find that around here in Marin, please let me know, because I haven't found a good place for barbecue yet. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Good luck. Have fun, and I'll see you on Sunday.